With the same conditions, Morata was offered to Arsenal. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, some secrets of the January transfer window, some things to say for the next summer, some movements that took place behind the scenes, clubs monitoring players, there is always movement. Let's jump into it together. And so guys, I wanted to start today's video by mentioning one of the stories of the recent hours, the recent days, and it's about Harry Kane, because we can confirm the reports from Bild and then from Telegraph. There is a race clause into the contract of Harry Kane at Bayern, and trust me, Premier League clubs are very well informed about that. So they know what's going on in terms of contract, they know how the clause is valid not in the summer but in the January window. That's a very strange clause. Usually clauses are only valid for the summer, sometimes summer and January. In the case of Harry Kane, there was a release clause this January 2025 for 80 million euros, and there is the same clause in January 2026 valid for 65, this is the value, million euros, only for January. So what does it mean? This is gonna set the price eventually for 2026 for Harry Kane, also because there is no expectation of movements in summer 2025, so in the upcoming summer, unless something crazy happens. As of today, Harry Kane is very happy at Bayern. Harry Kane is very happy also with Vincent Kompany, with the board, so very good feelings also in terms of private life, how he's living in Munich, very happy, so there are no messages coming from those close to Harry Kane about a potential move in the summer, but in 2026 could be different, so we will see in 1 year. And for sure there is this clause. So clubs are very attentive to this situation of Harry Kane. Remember that also Tottenham have matching rights for Harry Kane, but it doesn't mean that the player has to go to Tottenham in case Tottenham match the bid of any other club for Harry Kane. It means that Tottenham have a match point to close the deal, but then it's the player who has to decide whether he wants to go to Tottenham eventually in the future or to any other club. So that's just to explain the contract situation of Harry Kane. Who's left the club is Joao Felix, and congratulations to Joao Felix, who arrived in Milan on deadline day, took one training session and then on the pitch scoring for AC Milan against Roma, great impact. And also Milan very happy with this deal because it's straight loan. But as the director of Milan, Moncada, said in the last 24 hours, the feeling internally at Milan is that they have room for negotiations with Chelsea in the summer for Joao Felix. So to negotiate a buy option clause and all the details of the contract of Joao Felix was quite complicated. Let me clarify, the difficult part in terms of time on deadline day was not to negotiate a buy option, you can always negotiate a buy option, but the complicated part of the agreement was about the contract. Because when you do a loan with buy option, you always have to agree the previous contract for the player, in this case for Joao Felix. So negotiate the salary, negotiate the bonuses, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, all these sort of things. You can imagine that doing this on deadline day was quite complicated. So it was not difficult to negotiate with Chelsea, but was difficult to negotiate with Joao. So basically what Milan did is straight loan, and then in the summer we will see. Milan believe they have great relationship with Chelsea, with the agent of the player, Jorge Mendes too. So now Joao Felix just started, let's give him time to see how he will perform. February, March, April, May, and then in June Milan will make a decision. But we will see, because Milan are really happy obviously with the impact of Joao, but it's still very early, so let's follow all the steps of this story. Let's also follow the steps of those who left Milan, and here we have a small secret from the January window, we can say. One of the strikers were offered to Arsenal during the winter, as there were many, trust me, so some came to the press, others were not leaked in the media. We know, for example, Arsenal working on a deal for Ollie Watkins, but they never wanted to spend crazy money on Watkins because the big investment on the striker for Arsenal will be made in the summer. So let me repeat once again for Arsenal fans who are obviously quite frustrated, annoyed about this striker situation after January. In the summer for Arsenal will be completely different, but Arsenal didn't want to spend big money on Ollie Watkins. They were offered several strikers in January as opportunities. Arsenal were not so convinced about those names. One of those names was Alvaro Morata, a player who left Milan on loan deal, but with a buy option that is going to become 99% guaranteed to join Galatasaray. With the same conditions, Morata was offered to Arsenal. So the opportunity to return to the Premier League after the experience he had in London with Chelsea. It was discussed internally, but then Arsenal decided to skip this opportunity, to go for different ideas, to stay with the current squad, and then in the summer invest full money on the striker and also other positions. I also expect Arsenal to be very busy in the midfield because they want to do something important also in that position. So Morata was an option for Arsenal, but they decided not to proceed. And then he ended up joining Galatasaray. He also scored, similar to Joao Felix, on his first appearance. Talents. So let me clarify something on Nico Riley. I see this story everywhere now, really proud it was an exclusive story during the January window. I told you that Chelsea wanted him, and I can guarantee that Chelsea will keep following the player. They believe Nico Riley has big talent, big potential. They wanted to invest, according to my information, around 20-25 million pounds on Nico Riley to sign a player immediately from Manchester City and make him the new midfielder for Enzo Maresca. Why the deal collapsed? Because Chelsea were feeling the opportunity of a new Cole Palmer joining from Manchester City, maybe not that important player now, today, of course, he's very young at City, but immediately an important player for Chelsea. But City said no. City wanted to negotiate in case Chelsea were prepared to offer big money, but City always said buyback clause, matching rights, or nothing. And so for Man City to keep the control on the player was absolutely crucial. There was no chance to agree on terms, and so Chelsea decided to go for a different strategy. It's official, Matissa Mugu, who is already part of the first team of Enzo Maresca, but Nico Riley remains a player on Chelsea radar, a player they really appreciate, a player they really like, a player they wanted in Chelsea. So let's see what's going to happen next in the summer. Let's see also how many opportunities he will have to play at Manchester City. That could be important to understand the future of Nico Riley, but for sure the exclusive story on Chelsea interest in Nico Riley now is everywhere, is showing you how that interest was absolutely genuine. And then I was always mentioning to you about Matissa Mugu. Remember the plan, the player joins Chelsea now. He will spend 3-4 months at Chelsea as part of the first team. Today he was in training, and then from next season he will go on loan to Strasbourg. At least this is the verbal agreement, the plan they have internally for the player, and then Andrei Santos will return to Chelsea. So that's the idea, that's the vision. Chelsea, one of several clubs interested in Dean Huijsen, this fantastic centre-back at Bournemouth, who is doing fantastic in terms of performances, very calm on the ball, quality in the build-up, not conceding goals when he's playing in this partnership, which is doing fantastic with Zabarni. So Dean Huijsen is attracting many clubs. I already mentioned Chelsea, and I keep mentioning Chelsea as one of the clubs interested. Then there is also interest from Bayern. They called to be informed of the situation of the player. What we can add is that also Newcastle are showing an interest in Huijsen. They are doing very well, and in case they will be in Champions League football next season, the investment on a centre-back could be made, and Huijsen is one of the players they are monitoring. Remember the exclusive story from mid-January, he has a release clause into his contract valid in the summer. So Huijsen will be, for sure, one to watch in the summer transfer window. We have plenty of time to mention that, but for sure, one to watch. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories, from Nico Riley to Huijsen, but also Joao Felix, Harry Kane, and all the rest, including Alvaro Morata. Good choice or not to turn down that opportunity? Guys, let me know your opinion here in comments. Remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. The videos are coming every day. See you soon. Ciao!